Now, let's talk about experimental patches. Experimental patches, for those of you who haven't been around for any, I don't know even when the last one was, it's been ages, were basically where the developers or random content creators would just come up with these fun or creative ideas. And initially it was done in, I think, just tongue-in-cheek, just silliness, but there was a lot of questions about whether they were testing stuff that they weren't sure would be total troll mode, but just testing to see what it'd be like. Way back in the day at Overwatch 1, there was something called PTR, Public Test Region, where it would be a separate client, not even a separate game mode, a separate client you would have on your Blizzard Battle.net, and you would load in and you would test changes and bug fixes and things like that. And that kind of came back with experimental patch, where they would try different things. You guys remember the Diva remake? There's a lot of things that they would toy with and try within the experimental patch that would just be either really goofy and really fun. I remember Sound Barrier, when you landed on somebody, did like 300 damage for a period of time, but there was just like a lot of fun things. Now, here's why I think they should bring it back, okay? There's a few reasons why. The obvious one is that it was just really fun. Like, it was just really fun to try some of the fun, exciting things. It was also very engaging because the way that they did it was, not only is it new content to try out, but also a lot of time they would have pillars of the community, like a hero main, like let's say ML7 Necros, where to do something experimental with their hero. You want to try it out. What does ML7 think would be fun or cool to try for Ana? What if Ana had wall climb, right? How would that affect her hero, right? What if Genji had 30 ammo again, and they prevented Blade from being damage boosted, like legitimately changes, not just silly stuff, but actually legitimate changes. But then the most important thing, which we've talked about, is testing. You see, when I was on a podcast, the Group Up podcast, is it Group Up podcast with SVB? And it was SVB, Awkward, and IOSX a while back. And one of the things that we talked about was how, as players, you need to limit test as a coach, player, whatever, to improve at anything. If you're scared to make mistakes, then you're going to be very limited with what you can do, right? So the problem right now is that Overwatch is gimping its ability to balance by not being able to go experimental enough. Now, hear me out. If you look at heroes like Ramatra, okay? If you look at heroes like Lifeweaver, things like that, they probably, or some of them may or may not need some pretty extreme changes, or could benefit from trying some really crazy things. Like, for example, how do we fix Moira? How do we fix Roadhog? How do we rework those heroes, right? Now, I know that they do a lot of internal testing, but that internal testing has had hit or miss results. You have millions of players. And even if you want to use the stupid statistics approach, which I don't like very much, the stat win percentage, whatever, you have millions of players that are willing to run, give feedback, and just give you numbers to play around with. And you're not exploiting that in the experimental patch, and I think that's a mistake. You should be able to go a lot more explosive and creative and bizarre with your changes that allow you to limit test different things to decide whether they're going to be implemented in the game. And that's limiting things. You see, the problem is if you can't push your limits with patches and balance changes, then you won't actually be able to balance the game in a proper and fun way. Now, let me be very clear. A perfectly balanced game is impossible. But you're going to tell me that after, 3 years, is it maybe 4 years of promising to rework Moira or give Moira utility, they still haven't done it? You got to try stuff. And if you can't think of a good idea, then open it to the community. Do another community thing. Here's an idea. Open the experimental patch and have your top 3 ARX, Tesla, whoever your Moira mains are out there, have them come up with a couple of good ideas for giving Moira utility, or just the general community, and try a few of them out. Right? Try them out. I don't care if they're wildly broken. Go try them out, right? And the problem is that they don't have the time to properly test things to that limit internally. There's just no way that they have that time. So that's why you need to outsource. You need to outsource to an extent. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be super easy to set these things up. I know it's obviously going to take developer time, obviously. But the return on investment has to be more. This isn't even something specific to developers. This is just specific to improvement, period. If you can't limit test with things, you're not going to be able to improve at the same rate that other will be. Because everything's going to have to be done in safe increments, not actually really pushing it and being willing to mess up because it doesn't matter because it's an experimental patch. Because that's the problem. Right now, if they mess up, it's a big deal. People will not log in. They won't play the game. They won't buy skins. They'll complain. They'll gripe. People will stop playing ranked. It's a miserable experience. So, right, exactly. They just totally quit. So this is the thing here. And this is what experimental patch provides, right? The ability to limit test these things. Now, this is where I need y'all's help. I'm going to continue to talk for a few more minutes, but I want you guys in your brain to start accumulating ideas. Ideas that you would like to see experimented with in the experimental patch. You know what? Let's actually do this. I'm going to do this in my Discord right now. So !Discord, !Discord. Let's get experimental patch right now. So in my Discord, there's a channel in here. Drop your ideas in here. Because I want to go over some of these on stream. I want to go over some of these on stream. Because I have one of my own that somebody was mentioning earlier. I haven't really put a lot of thought into things I'd like to see experimented with more. There's a few ideas, but I want to see what you guys think. The reason I put them on Discord is just because I don't have to scroll through Twitch chat, right? But yeah, we need to actively limit test and try weird crap just to see how it would go. And you don't even have to do like a lot of it at the same time. You could do in a vacuum, have change nothing, but like one or two things, like make Moira really broken and see and reward it with better battle pass experience or something like that, right? So that people have motivation to play. People will try it once, and if they don't like it, they won't play it as much. But if you reward them with more XP or make a challenge about it, I mean, come on, guys, we have all the resources that we have to be able to encourage people to try it, right? And I think that's a huge missed opportunity. So I want to see what you guys got for me. Okay, shatter up walls. Okay, well. Maybe, right? Take away Pharah's flight and put more power into rocket launcher, let a rocket launcher around like Soldier and TF2. Okay, freaking bizarre, but I like it. I think Pharah has been historically one of the heroes that is very, very unpopular to play and play against. One of the most underrated, controversial heroes in Overwatch history is Pharah. Right? She doesn't get talked about a lot because people don't play her, but that in of itself is a condemnation, right? Very interesting. Remove Mercy Res and make it only doable in her ult. Bro, don't even get me started on Mercy. I swear there has to be so many ideas out there for Mercy that have never been tried. I feel so bad for the Mercy community sometimes. Like, I know we all give them a hard time, but there are so many ideas on Mercy that have never been touched, you know? Like, and Mercy's one of the worst ones because there's so much you could do with a hero that just hasn't been done, you know? Someone's corpse makes the respawn time longer. No way, you beat on someone's corpse and then respawn time doubles. That'd be the most BM thing ever. Can you imagine you like kill somebody as Luzu and just beat on their body like, screw you, man, you're not playing the game for an extra 10 seconds. Revert the brig changes this patch, just make her shield bash stun normally, not through shields though. Interesting idea. I think I'm a fan of that one. Suzu removes any displacement upon allies, but cannot get rid of status effects or damage. Make Hog lose a bunch. One of the ones that people were suggesting for Suzu is that it keeps the cleanse, but it loses the invulnerability aspect. This is interesting. This is interesting. Shield has only 350 HP with a 5-second cooldown. Halt can only pull one person at a time. She'd probably be really bad, but it would be worth a shot. And maybe the spirit of that change would be something to lean into. Pharah was originally designed with that intent, though. What if your jetpack with Pharah was never like permanent flying, but like it was like a hover pack, you know, that you could do to like slow your descent or allow you a little bit more mobility options? Like imagine if Pharah had half of the fuel that she has now and didn't have her shift, or had her shift but only had the ability like angelic descent to slow the descent. Yeah, see, I didn't even know that, Schiza. I think it's a huge missed opportunity. But if you played Pharah like that, she wouldn't demand the Mercy Pocket. Because to play the Pharah, you wouldn't. That would fix the issue, right? Yeah, the old Bastional, I would like to see how that would look in Overwatch 2. It would definitely be more strong in Overwatch 2, but I would like to see it.